The high-strength steel left front frame rail on this Honda Accord is damaged beyond repair and requires replacement. Before the rail can be replaced, the structure of the vehicle has to be returned to its dimensional specifications. Let's see how the use of higher strength steel in the structure affects this process. We will be using a fixture bench in order to take advantage of the added anchoring for straightening and positioning of the new frame rail for welding. First, the front bumper cover, hood, left fender, left headlamp, and front bumper reinforcement are removed. The drivetrain and front suspension will also be removed to allow access to the rail spot welds and to mount the vehicle to the straightening bench fixtures. Before this can be done, the fuel pressure is released by removing the fuel pump fuse and the fuel cap and then starting the engine and letting it run until it stalls to remove the fuel from the lines. The battery is then disconnected and the fuel lines are disconnected. Notice that a rag is used to catch any fuel that may leak out after disconnecting the line. After draining the coolant, the radiator and fan assembly is removed. Next, a refrigerant recovery machine is used to recover the air conditioning refrigerant, and the air conditioning condenser is removed. Then, the air conditioning lines and radiator hoses are capped to keep contaminants out. Next, the technician removes the battery, air cleaner assembly, and underhood fuse box. Notice that the electrical connector ends are covered to prevent contamination during repairs. Next, the air intake tube is removed from the outside of the frame rail. To avoid opening the hydraulic system for the brakes, the front calipers are unbolted and tied up out of the way. The upper control arms are separated from the wishbone-style steering knuckles. After the vehicle is lowered to place the drivetrain and suspension subframe on a pallet, the oil cooler and air conditioning refrigerant lines are disconnected. Next, any additional lines and wiring that require it are disconnected. The right upper motor mount to the frame rail is disconnected, and the subframe bolts are removed. The vehicle is raised on the hoist, leaving the subframe and drivetrain on the ground. Next, the front struts and upper control arms are removed from the vehicle. Any remaining brackets or parts attached to the damaged rail are removed. The vehicle is loaded on the straightening bench and bolted to the 4 center section fixtures. Using the data sheet from the equipment maker, additional fixtures are assembled to the machine and vehicle for measuring and straightening purposes. The driver's seat is removed so that the carpeting can be pulled back out of the way to access where the frame rail attaches to the cowl and floor. The pulling post is attached, and a section of the radiator core support is cut away to allow access to the front of the frame rail with the clamp. After attaching the pulling clamp, an initial pull is made to bring the entire front structure closer to specification. Notice that the damaged areas are stress relieved while the pull is still under tension. Because of the higher strength of the structural parts, too much pressure is required on one pull to move the entire structure, so the radiator core support is cut through the center to allow each rail to be positioned individually. Fixtures have been bolted to the right front frame rail where they line up, and as the rail is pulled into position, more fixtures are connected, working from the back forward. With the lower rail positioned and secured in place, a shock tower fixture is assembled to check the positioning of the right shock tower. The left front frame rail is up and back, even at points by the cowl, so it is pulled forward and down from the front. Notice that the rail is stress relieved as it is pulled. This helps lessen the pressure required to move it into position. The rail had been pushed back into the cowl and floor. With pressure on the pull, these areas are also stress relieved. Doing this helps ensure that the cowl will be in the proper position when the new frame rail is installed. As the rail is pulled, fixtures are aligned and bolted in place starting at the back, working forward. Once the fixture points on the back half of the rail and the shock tower are aligned, the pulling is complete and the rail can be removed. Because of the strength of the rail, the extent of damage, and the fact that the rail will be replaced, we will not attempt to put the front fixture points into position, as doing this would likely cause collateral damage to other parts of the vehicle.